Well, hello once again. Hello. Look, in the words of my god sister, yes, content, yes. I'm back with another one. And this one is like kind of just straight off the dome. I didn't really have anything planned for this one. I'm gonna just keep it real for a minute. So I recorded a video on silence and why a lot of people are afraid of it. And I was gonna redo it. You know, I didn't watch the whole thing back after I recorded it. But in my mind, I'm like, no, because I was even having an own moment. I gotta check myself. I was even having my own moment because there was a moment in the video where I got quiet because I didn't really know what to say. So here I am preaching about silence and then feeling like, oh, well, you know, I just feel like I don't have everything in alignment. I got quiet because I didn't really know exactly what to say. It's like I wanted to add something to that. But, you know, and just having all of these kind of like little mini doubts in my mind about posting it because it was kind of all over the place as well. So that kind of brings me to this video here, in which I actually came up with the idea some time ago, but as far as me recording it right now, it's definitely more off the top because I was going to try to organize something or come up with a different idea where I had more thoughts and more of my ideas collected about just jumping in and doing it when it comes to creativity. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be 100% researched, outlined, organized. Because really, all of my videos that I've done thus far, I did not do no organization. You know, of course, I thought about different points I wanted to hit on with it. But I didn't focus on the perfection of it. I think that's where creativity gets stifled, where we think a little too much about like how it's gonna turn out, every single point, every single line. You gotta just get in and do it, because I feel like that actually kind of enhances the creativity as well, because as you're going with it, you come up with more stuff you want to add, where you want to edit, where you want to add more, where you want to take out in the future. I think it really does justice to just jump in. I feel like a lot of times your body really just tell you. That's like my god sister, right? We've been talking about podcasting. And I started a podcast a while ago called Taboo-ish. It's still up if you want to check it out. Basically just a podcast just talking about things. I feel like nothing, at least in my opinion, nothing is really too taboo anymore, because in some certain group or environment, people would talk about it. You know, I feel like back in the days, there were certain topics that were extremely, extremely taboo, like sexuality, for example. But for some people with some cultures, a lot of these things are taboo, you know? So I named it Taboo-ish. And, you know, she's getting ready to get started on her podcast. And I remember us talking about what might be holding us back from really jumping into some of our creative pursuits. And she was mentioning things such as, oh, I just want to make sure I'll be able to keep up on it and the scheduling and da-da-da-da-da, right? And I feel like with things like that, when it comes to our creativity, those things are legitimate concerns because it's our artwork. Of course, we want it to be the best of what we want it to be, but sometimes in order to get those things organized, you got to jump in. And don't mind the nails. I know they ratchet looking, ratchet city. They are. But I'm probably not going to redo them probably until like Sunday. Because I'm gonna finish off the rest of the work week anyway. And yeah, they just going to get even more jacked up. So, anyway, neurodivergent moment. But sometimes I feel like when we focus too much on the details, that's where we lose creativity. And that's what holds us back, because we worry too much about when, how, when, the perfection, the outline, what exactly to say and do, what exact colors to use in this portrait, and everything else. Just jump in and do it and learn along the way. There's just so much beauty in it as well. Oh, and I also was going to say, when I started my podcast, I remember I sat on my podcast idea for so long. And honestly, I wish I would have started my podcast sooner, because when I wanted to restart my podcast and get into it, nobody really podcasted like that. You know, of course, at some point, people was going to be jumping in and doing it again, but nobody was really doing it like that. But I sat on the idea, and I actually let one of my professors kind of get in my head a little bit, because I was telling her about my idea, and she's like, oh, well, she said something to the arena of like, nobody's really podcasting, nobody's really listening to podcasts or something like that. And I kind of let that get to me, like, yeah, you know, I don't want to do that if it's not really in, or if it's not really the trend, or if nobody's really going to listen or whatever. But in that moment, I should have just jumped in when I felt it. And I do feel like that goes into when you feel it as well. You do have to respect what you feel in your body. If you don't feel like it's time, then it's just not time. Trust me, your body will let you know. Because with my podcast, the night I started it, actually the early morning I started it, it was like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And one day I just got up off the couch. I was like, I'm about to record an episode right now. I didn't have no plan. I didn't have no outline. I didn't even know that morning was going to be the morning that it was time to record, but it was. And from there, I got into a flow. I learned that it was something that I loved, something that I enjoyed, something that was mine, that I was creating, that I was building, and naturally my body followed. It was like, okay, we're going to want to do this more. We may not still have a set schedule, but we're going to want to do this more and more when we feel it. From there, you come up with a schedule at some point when you know you got other things to do, when you're going to have to try to fit this in, and maybe you want to get it out on a certain day or something to that effect. Then you come up with the details afterwards. This sun is just like sunny. So I guess that's just what it's going to have to be. But, you know, again, even with this video, I had the idea a while ago that I was going to do a video covering this, but I didn't really know exactly what I was going to say, exactly what I was going to do. And today I just felt like this was the time, especially reviewing my last video. Like, oh, I don't know, I just feel like it's not perfect. It was a lot of pauses. It was a lot of uncertainty. I was kind of all over. And that's just part of who I am anyway. I'm all over the place. Even in regular conversation, I'll drift off. We drift off somewhere else, and then I'm back where I done lost my point and gotta find it again. But that's okay. That's okay. That actually helps creativity. And I feel like I've either read or seen something about that there's actually scientific backing on that as well. I don't have all the scientifics and the logics either. But it's definitely something to look up and to consider. But yeah, so basically I said all this to say, if you're sitting on a creative idea, if there's something you really want to do, but you're worried about perfection or how it's going to turn out, how you're going to do it, you know, all the details. I wouldn't worry about all the details. I would just do it. Even if you don't want to put it out there. It's funny because I'm rewatching the series Bel-Air. The remake of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It came out some years ago, but I'm refreshing because I've never seen the second season. So I'm almost done with the first season again, and then I can get into the second season. So mini spoiler alert, Aunt Viv was an artist in this one. And she was going back and forth with like getting back into her art again because, you know, honestly, she got wrapped up in the life of her family and her husband, and she kind of drifted away from her passion. So now she's getting back into doing it, and she's not so much worried about the details of it, how it's going to be perceived and all that, but in her body, she feels like it's not the right time yet. She wants to get into it, and she's in the process. Now, that's a little different again from just sitting on the idea and being stuck not doing anything because you don't know how it's going to turn out. Your body not being ready is something completely different. You don't force against nature. That's a whole nother video. But for her, it just is not the right timing yet on the inside. She's doing it, but it's not time to put it out yet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're ready, if you got the urge to get started and jump in, just start. Just start. Start and keep it in the backlog. Whatever your idea is, start and keep it in the backlog. If you starting your own business, but even me, I have my own business and I don't have all the details. I don't have all the logistics. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know the first thing about publishing, but on the business aspect, I feel like I don't know enough. But I'm going to learn as I go. I'm going to do it. I know one of the most important and vital things is I'm going to have to start writing something if anything don't get published. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to continue to learn as I go. And that should be your mindset with anything if you're sitting on a creative idea. Do it. Learn along the way. Okay? So that's pretty much it. I'm here. I'm about to pick up my food. I'm still a little small YouTuber, so I'll plug in a little promotion for now. But after that, you're going to have to pay once I blow up, okay? Buffalo Wild Wings got this deal where if you order at least a minimum of $10 of food, you can get a free 6-piece. And it's funny because I was craving me some chicken wings, and I seen that, and I was like, yes. So I'm about to go in. But that's it for now, y'all. That's it for now. Again, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and watching. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and do that. I had the video where I said I'm not in the interest of begging. I ain't begging you, but, you might as well. You're already here, okay? All right, y'all take care.